Students, today we are going to study a new topic in grammar called sentence connectors. Look at the conversation between teacher and some students. Teacher: Suresh, what are your two favorite games? Suresh: Sir, my favorite games are cricket and football. Teacher: Neha, first recite a poem and then sing a song. Neha: Sir, I can recite a poem, but I cannot sing a song. Teacher: Saksham, why were you late today? Saksham: Sir, I was late because I missed the bus. Now, students, as you can see that the underlined words and, but, because are connecting two sentences and making them compact. Look at the following sentences. I read storybooks because I enjoy them. Before meeting my friends, I had lunch. He is a good boy, but his sister is lazy. She went to shop and brought books. Besides reading books, I write short stories. Now, look at the words which are underlined in the sentences which I have just read. The words are because, before, but, and, besides. Can you tell what are the function of the underlined words, that is, because, before, but, and, besides, in the above sentences? Children, as you can see that these words are used to join two sentences, phrases, or words in a sentence. So, what are these words called in the sentences? Yes, these words are called sentence connectors. Today we are going to study about sentence connectors and the different types of sentence connectors in English. Let's define a sentence connector. A sentence connector is a word or a group of words used to join words, phrases, and sentences. Now, let us look at some examples of sentence connectors. Number 1. Ram and Shyam are friends. Number 2. I arrived after he left. Number 3. They may go wherever they want. 4. While he was reading, I was playing. 5. Even if he works hard, he will not pass. As you can see, in all these 5 sentences, the connectors and, after, wherever, while, even if are used either to join words or sentences. In the last 2 sentences, the connectors while and even if are used at the beginning of the sentence. Types of sentence connectors. Number 1. Coordinate or coordinative conjunction. Number 2. Subordinate or subordinative conjunction. Number 3. Correlative conjunction. We are going to study each of these 3 types of sentence connectors one by one ahead. Before studying sentence connectors, let us learn about a sentence and a clause. A sentence is a group of words that has a subject and a verb and which can stand on its own. Examples: my name is Ram. I live in Mohali. India is my country. As you can see, in each of the 3 sentences, there is a subject and a verb, and each of the 3 sentences can stand on its own. That means all the 3 sentences convey complete meaning. Like in the first sentence, my name is Ram. The subject is my name and the verb is, and it conveys complete meaning. So it is a sentence. Similarly, in the second sentence, I live in Mohali. Here, the subject is I and the verb is live, and it gives complete meaning. So it is again a sentence. Similarly, In the third sentence, India is my country. Here, the subject is India and the verb is, and it also conveys complete meaning. So, this is also a sentence. So, a sentence is a group of words which has a subject and a verb, and it conveys complete meaning. What is a clause? A clause is also a group of words that has a subject and a verb. If the clause makes complete sense, it is called as main clause. So, a sentence is also a main clause. Look at some examples given. I like apples. In this sentence, I is the subject and like is the verb. This sentence makes complete sense, so it is a main clause. In the second example, he is a player, he is the subject and is the verb. He is a player makes complete sense, so it is also a main clause. Similarly, in the sentence, India is a great country, this is the subject India and is the verb. India is a great country makes complete sense, so it is a main clause. Now, what is a subordinate clause? A subordinate clause is a group of words which also contain a subject and a verb, but which cannot stand on its own. That means it is dependent. So, a subordinate clause needs a main clause to complete its meaning. To understand subordinate clause clearly, we are going to take up some examples. Now, let us take some examples of subordinate clause. 1. Rahul did not come to school because he was ill. In this sentence, there is a main clause, Rahul did not come to school, and a subordinate clause, because he was ill. In the first clause, Rahul did not come to school. Rahul is the subject and come is the verb. And this clause gives complete meaning. So, it is a main clause. But in the next clause, because he was ill, there is a subject he and a verb was, but it doesn't give complete meaning. And this clause has to depend on the main clause, Rahul did not come to school. And because is called the subordinate conjunction as it joins the main clause with the subordinate clause. Similarly, in the second sentence, after he left my house, he went to the market. Here, in this sentence, after he left my house is the subordinate clause because it has a subject he and a verb left, but it doesn't give complete meaning. So it has to depend on the main clause, he went to the market. Number 3, I was going to school when you called me. In this sentence, I was going to school is the main clause. It has a subject I and a verb was going, and it gives complete sense. Whereas when you called me also has a subject you and a verb called, but it doesn't give complete sense, so it has to depend on the main clause. I was going to school for complete meaning, and both the clauses are joined by the conjunction when. In the next sentence, although the weather was pleasant, we stayed at home. In this sentence, although the weather was pleasant is the subordinate clause, and it depends on the main clause, we stayed at home. Here, although is the subordinate conjunction. In the last sentence, as soon as I reached the school, the bell rang. Here, as soon as I reached the school is the subordinate clause, and it depends on the main clause, the bell rang, and both the clauses are joined by the subordinate conjunction as soon as. Remember that we can put the subordinate conjunction between the two clauses or in front of the first clause. The two examples given below. Number 1, Ramesh is happy because he won a prize. In this sentence, there is a main clause, Ramesh is happy, and a subordinate clause, because he won a prize. And both the clauses are joined by the subordinate conjunction because. So here in this sentence, because joins the main clause with the subordinate clause. Whereas in the second sentence, because Ramesh won a prize, comma, he is happy. Here, the subordinate conjunction because comes before both the subordinate clause, Ramesh won a prize, and the main clause, he is happy. Important. If the subordinate conjunction comes before the two clauses, put a comma between the clauses, as I've just told you in the second example. Coordinate or coordinative conjunctions. We often use coordinate or coordinative conjunction to connect two or more than two simple sentences. Example: Ram is a boy and Sita is a girl. In this sentence, there are two simple sentences. Number 1, Ram is a boy. Number 2, Sita is a girl. And both the simple sentences are joined by the coordinative conjunction and. Second example: you can take this book, but you cannot take that one. Here you can see that the coordinative conjunction but joins two simple sentences. They are, you can take this book and you cannot take that one. So, such sentences are called as compound sentences. Examples of coordinate conjunctions: Ram is a boy and Sita is a girl. He worked hard but he failed. You can do this one or that one. Rita was sick, so she did not come to school. India is rich, but Indians are poor. In the first two sentences, the coordinate conjunctions and but join two main clauses, whereas in the third sentence, or joins the two phrases, whereas in the fourth and fifth sentences, the coordinate conjunctions so and but join two main clauses, so and but or so and but are coordinate conjunctions and they are used to join main clauses or a phrase or words. Some points to remember in coordinate conjunctions. Number 1. Do not begin a sentence with coordinate conjunction. It means that in English, we never start a sentence with any of the 7 coordinate conjunction that we have studied. Number 2. When the coordinate conjunction connects two clauses, put a comma after the first clause. So, comma is always used after the clause but before the conjunction. Note, if the coordinate conjunction connects two words or phrases, comma is not added. Example, Rohan is poor but hardworking. As you can see in this sentence, there are two words, poor and hardworking, separated by the coordinate conjunction but. There is no comma used before the conjunction but. Similarly, in the second sentence, he is a good student and a good person. In this sentence, there are two phrases, a good student, a good person. Both these phrases are separated by the conjunction and, but there is no comma used before and. And in the third sentence, she is both pretty and intelligent. Here you can see that there are two words, pretty, intelligent, and both are separated by the conjunction and. Again, there is no comma used before and. Students, now we will study about the list of subordinate or subordinative conjunctions in English. They are because, if, unless, although, before, as soon as. Some of the other subordinate conjunctions in English are while, when, after, until. Children, to remember subordinate conjunction, learn the mnemonic on a white bus. Now, what does on a white bus stand for? O stands for only if, once. N, now that. A, after, although, as. W, where, wherever, when, whenever, whether, while. H, how. I for in case of, in order that. T, though, that. E, even though, even if. B, before, because. U, until, unless. S, since, so that. Let's learn some sentences from the mnemonics on a white bus. O, only if. Sentence, I will go only if you come along with me. N, now that. Sentence, now that he has come home, comma, I can go for a walk. A, although he is poor, comma, he is honest. W, wherever. I will follow you wherever you go. H, how. I don't know how he came here. I, in case of. In case of an emergency, comma, you can call me. T, though. Though he was late, comma, he was allowed to sit in the class. E, even if. Even if you pass in the exam, comma, you won't get admission. B, because. He ran away because he was afraid of the teacher. U, unless. I won't call you unless you mend your ways. S, since. Since you are on time, the teacher will reward you.